I'll say good afternoon again because I am speaking from Lagos, Nigeria, and I am Moyo Odejide, and it's my utmost pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar organized by the esteemed Space and Shelter Company Limited. Woo! Drum rolls, guys. Right. So this webinar is on the topic navigating the property market, the Nigerian property market. And let me just do a quick introduction of myself. For those who may not know me, I am Moyo Odejide, and I'm a legal practitioner. I have proven experiences in the legal concerning legals for the markets, for the real estate market space. Particularly, I've worked extensively in this space, and I've worked particularly with Space and Shelter, the organizers of this webinar. So welcome. I want to know where you're joining me from. I'd like you to engage with me on the chat box. I'm really excited to hear you, and I look forward to reading from you. Today, we delve into these matters, and we're going to be exploring, market trends. We're going to be exploring opportunities and strategies that will help us to navigate this space successfully. Whether you are an investor, like I said earlier, whether you're a home buyer, or you're just generally curious about this market, there's something valuable here for you today, and I'd like to welcome you already. So if you are here in the room, can you please say hello? Can you say hello to me? Hello, good afternoon. I am joining from so place. I would like to read from you. I cannot wait to read from you. Are you there? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please say hi. Thank you. Please say hi if you can hear me. I'd like to read from you and know exactly where you are joining us from. Yes, thank you, Shay. Thank you so dearly. Hi, Shay. Good to have you here, where these conversations are going to be taking place, and we will delve right into the heart of the matters concerning the Nigerian property market. For you to be on this call this evening, I know very clearly that you are interested, in the market space. Solomon Ogusheye, it's so good to see you. Hi, Grace. Thank you for joining. You're joining from Ibadan. Amazing. Have you shared the link with your friends? Please do well to share this link with some of your friends. You wouldn't know what people are trying to get into. They may be interested in, getting into more knowledge to the understanding of exactly how to navigate the property market. Thank you, Omobadering from Lagos, Nigeria. It's really amazing to read from you. So like I was saying, whether you are an investor who just has cash flow, you have liquidity, and you just want to invest in the real estate space, but you don't want to go ahead and do it blindly. You want to do it with knowledge. This is the webinar for you. And whether you're a home buyer, maybe it's time for you to buy that, dream home of yours to put your family in and all whatnot. This is also that space where you should have conversations today. Or maybe you are just generally curious, like I said earlier. You might have your portfolio diversified, across many other platforms, but you feel like, okay, let me even understand exactly what the real estate space is like, what the Nigerian property market looks like. And let me say this, it is also good that you share this link with some of your friends in the diaspora. This conversation here today will be very beneficial for some of your friends in the diaspora, because they will have an understanding of how to navigate the Nigerian property market without getting into the wrong hands. So please share the link. And like I said earlier, tell me where you are joining from. I really want to know. Thank you, Grace, joining from Ibadan. Omobadering, joining from Lagos. I want to read from others. Let me know where you're joining us from. Awesome. Okay. So let me just ask a quick question right here before we move on. Can you tell me what aspect of the Nigerian property market interests you the most? What aspects? You don't even have to state why, but I just want to read diversely from us. What area of the Nigerian property market interests you the most? Are you able to put that in the chat box for me? What's that area? What's that part of it that fascinates you or gets your attention. I'm also kind of waiting for us to share the link with people. I want this room to be packed full before we get into the very heart of what we have to do today. If you have not introduced yourself, this is the right moment to just say hello. I'm so, and I'm joining from so. This is the right time to do so. Amazing. Right. Obina, hi. Hi. Welcome on board. Can you hear me? Are you there? Okay, commercial real estate. I like it. Commercial real estate. Lovely. And Obina says crowdfunding. Amazing. There are endless possibilities in the Nigerian property real estate space. It's all about knowledge and, a lot of strategy. That is exactly how a person will get the best of the real estate space. I love these ideas that I'm seeing. Crowdfunding, amazing. Joint ventures, lovely. Beautiful, really beautiful. I really want to see what area of the Nigerian real estate space, interests you the most. Or what have you seen in other countries, other parts of the world that you really feel like, this can also happen in Nigeria. We can put this to work in Nigeria and we'll generate revenue. So I like what I'm seeing. I want more people to comment. Commercial real estate is a big deal, right? And is a cash cow, right? It's obvious. Yeah, crowdfunding is also a thing. And of course, joint venture is not going away anytime soon. So yes, thank you for your comments. I'm excited about it. Lovely. Okay. All right, so we're getting gradually into the heart of where we are here today. Getting gradually into the heart of it. If you have more comments, please put it on the chat box. Yeah, I'm looking to read from you. Okay, so let me get into, like I introduced myself earlier, I mentioned that I'm a legal practitioner and I've had the privilege to work in the real estate space in Nigeria for quite a while. And I have proven experiences on engaging stakeholders in the real estate space variously. And so because of that, I'll just do you a quick tips. I'll just share a few tips on how a person can navigate the Nigerian property market, And I would say this for starters. The Nigerian property market requires sound understanding of legal considerations so that there can be smooth transactions and your interests are safeguarded. I believe you got that. If you must engage doing anything at all in the Nigerian real estate market, in the Nigerian property market, it's important that you have knowledge on how to have these things done. Number one tip that I would share, I just put all these tips in 3 categories and I would run over them quickly. And please get ready. You might be winning something today. So I want you to actually follow actively so that if there's something to win, you are not missing out on it. All right. So the first tip I would share, if you have to do anything in the Nigerian real estate space, is to conduct your due diligence. Due diligence is the vein and the core of the matter. You have to conduct a thorough search to confirm the seller's ownership. You need to be sure that the person selling to you is the actual owner of the property and not just somebody who is just being fraudulent, right? So you have to conduct a proper search both at the land registry of the state where you want to purchase the land and also local due diligence, like I will call it. You can as much as go to the land itself, ask questions from neighbors and do your due diligence. This is to ensure that the person selling to you is a person who has a valid legal capacity to sell. I believe you guys are getting me, right? And to also ensure that there are no encumbrance or there are no disputes on the property. Now, talking about due diligence, I'll just mention a few other things. Number one, you have to examine the title documents that you are giving. I know that upon, your interest, if you indicate interest to buy a property, the possibility is that you'll be given some documents, which will likely be a C of O, or what they did of assignments, or some receipts, or what have you, and some surveys as well. Whatever you are given, you have to ensure that you conduct your own diligence search to be sure that these documents are valid and authentic. You have to ensure that the survey plan you are given is authentic. It is a registered survey prepared by a surveyor. And the reason for asking for a survey plan is so that you can actually get the exact boundaries of the property. You don't want a situation where there are disputes as to the size of the property, the boundaries of it, and the exact size of what you have bought. So it's important, like I mentioned, the C of O. If any document you are given as a title document of the property you propose to buy, you must verify to be sure that they are valid, they are authentic, and they are owned by the person presenting them, or whoever is presenting them as the authorization, or that person has the authorization. Hello, everyone. Can you still hear my voice?
Yes,
pardon the interruption. Thank you. Thank you so much. Pardon the interruption, please. Right. Like I was saying, so ensure that all the documents that you are given, which are supposed to be the title documents of the property that you plan to buy, are valid and authentic. And it is presented by the person who has a valid legal capacity to do so. Again, you need to also perform a due diligence by researching the history of the property. You have to research the history of the property, research the seller's background, so that you can know any potential legal issues that may arise. Does that property have a court matter? Is there something going on in court about it? Is there some family disputes? You need to really find out exactly what is going on, the legal history of the property. And you can find this out, through a legal person, and I will get to that in a moment. And number 3, you have to ensure that the property that you are planning to buy, that you purport to buy, is valid for the purpose you intend to use it. I know that may sound like a lot, but you need to understand that there are government regulations that make some properties unfit for residential purposes. There are government regulations that say this one can only be used for agricultural purposes, this one can only be used for commercial purposes, so that you do not buy a property with the hopes to use that property for residential purposes, and it is an area that government has already marked out for agricultural purposes. So you need to also ensure that part of your due diligence covers this. It has to be robust. It has to cover every end so that you are buying what will give you peace of mind. All right. Thank you for listening. Are you still there? And so the first thing I spoke about is verify the property ownership, aka due diligence. And I explained the steps in the due diligence exercise. It's not exhaustive, but at least for our purposes here, we can work with that. Number 2, and this is the most important, and this is where, I find this quite more interesting. Engage a real estate lawyer. Hire a qualified real estate lawyer to handle the process for you. Now, this will give you peace of mind. This is where you can literally go to bed, right? Because the real estate lawyer is trained to handle the contracts, to review all legal documents, and provide sound and credible legal advice throughout the transaction process. Trust me, you don't want to make a decision in the real estate space without a legal professional. So ensure that your legal professional helps to review all documents you are given, helps to look at your contract and see the necessary terms and conditions that serve you, right? This lawyer would also draft a comprehensive sale agreement, which would detail all the terms and conditions, like I've said, such as the payment terms, the completion dates, dispute resolution mechanisms, and all of that. And so the final tip I'll give to us today on talking about legal tips is, after you make your purchase, don't go to bed. This is not the time to make your purchase and rejoice that, oh yeah, I have a property in Lekki. Now go ahead and secure your interests in that property. Go to the appropriate land registry office and effect a change of ownership, or register your interest, like we will always say. So yes, I believe very strongly that the tips that I've shared, counts for something this evening. Did you get anything? Can you put something in the chat box? Let me know exactly what you heard that you feel like, yeah, this works. Can you say something to me on the chat box? Can you hear me? Yes, thank you. Oluwatayo Familoni, amazing. Get a lawyer involved. Yes, Shay, thank you. Engage the services of a real estate lawyer. You will have no reason for tears. There will be no, tears at the end of the transaction. All your hard-earned money will not just go up in flames just like that. Yes, research the property. Do local research. Do, institutional research. Yes, Oluwatosin Ajayi, make proper investigation. Amazing. Yeah, you guys are super smart on this. Find out issues, whether there is any legal issues. It's called encumbrances. If there's any encumbrance, it could be that the person has borrowed some money and used the property as collateral. So you need to be sure that the encumbrance has been discharged. It's not a problem to use a property as collateral, yeah? But if at all the person now plans to sell, the encumbrance must have been discharged before he is able to validly transfer ownership to you, right? And so the most important aspect of it, you cannot do this alone. Trust me. You cannot navigate this property space alone, whether as an investor, whatever it is that you're a buyer for residential purposes, you can't do it alone, and you really have to engage the services of a legal practitioner. Thank you so dearly for engaging with me on this. I really love the engagement, and I want us to keep it coming. So moving on to the art of the matter today, I feel like saying drum rolls. I'm so excited because we have someone who is competent and capable to have conversations of this nature with us, giving us so much clarity and shedding light on matters that have to do with securing our interests in the real estate markets of Nigeria today. And it's no other person than Samuel Obafemi George. Can we please make him feel welcome? Can we give some reaction? Can we just, say an hello? Please give some reaction to make Mr. Obafemi welcome this evening before I go on to reading his profile, and then he has the floor. Are we doing that more actively? Thank you, guys. Thank you. We're so excited to have you here, Mr. Obafemi. We're really, really excited, and you can feel the energy in the room. Everyone is really waiting to hear the wealth of wisdom that you're going to be dishing out today, even as you speak. So I'll just quickly go to take his profile. Right. Samuel Obafemi George is the CEO of Barrachel Realty Limited, an entrepreneur with over 20 years SME experience. He holds a BSc in Political Science from the Lagos State University and an MSc in Political Science and Masters in International Law and Diplomacy, both from the University of Lagos, Akoka. And he began his career with the family business in 1996 as a marketer before joining readersworld.com in 2003, and where he rose to become the Chief Operations Officer before resigning to float Barrachel Realty Limited, which is a real estate firm. In 2017, Obafemi George became the first Nigerian to be nominated and to participate in the Austrian Leadership Program in Vienna, Austria, a high-profile leadership training that exposes emerging future leaders in politics and business to the top business and political space in Vienna, Austria. Obafemi sits on the board of some private and public companies, including Space and Shelta Limited, Courts and Cradles Crèche and Preschool Limited, Lekki Conservation Company, Life Initiative, just to mention a few. He is happily married and is blessed with 3 lovely children. Ladies and gentlemen, can we make Mr. Obafemi feel so welcome as he takes the floor to take
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you, Moyo. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Solomon Ogusha. Yeah, I can see it. Thank you, Sheyi. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Good. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Oluwatosin Ajayi. Thank you so much. Thank you, Oluwakemi. I can see all the welcome in the chat room. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. So we go straight. Thank you, Olufemi. Oh, that's my namesake. All right, namesake. Thumbs up to the namesake. All right. Okay, Oluseilo. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. So, we just go straight into the menu of the day. So Sheyi, someone can just share the slide there. Thank you, admin. All right, so just go ahead and just share my slide. Thank you. So today we're going to be talking about how to navigate the Nigerian property market. So opportunities and challenges. Okay, so because wherever you have opportunities, you have challenges. Wherever you have challenges, you have opportunities. Opportunities are always hiding inside challenges. So we're going to be exploring both worlds today. All right. So let's go straight into the first slide. Thank God that we've had the democracy that has been running for the past 25 years. And I mean, where we were in 1999 is definitely not where we are today. I'm sure most of you here can remember where we were as a country in 1999. That there were no mobile phones. The mobile telecommunication industry was non-existent. No internet penetration. Banking was still archaic. No movie industry. No fintech. Now, all those sectors have added to our economy. I mean, in 1999, I think we're like 230 billion naira economy. Today, we are the largest in Africa, $1.5 trillion economy. That is huge. And, you know, within the 25 years, of course, the journey have not been rosy. I mean, I've been in business since 2000. I mean, I've worked, then gone into business. So I've practically been part of the economic growth from 1999 till date. I literally finished school 1998. So I was doing my youth service when this democratic dispensation started. So all my work life has actually been the past 25 years. And in the past 25 years, I have personally witnessed 3 recessions. Of course, you all remember the 2008 recession, the global economy meltdown. I'm sure most of us then that invested in shares, it was like, you know what? This paradise was never going to end. I remember banking shares that were like 27, 28 naira. I don't want to mention names of banks, but I still remember some shares that December 2007, they were 28, 29, 30 naira per share. And by December 2008, 1 year into global recession, those same bank shares were like 4 naira, 3 naira per share. And people have borrowed money. I mean, people have invested heavily, thinking that that party was going to continue forever, and it crashed. And some people never came out of that recession till date. It wiped out some businesses. Okay? Things picked up. I mean, we had oil boom 2010, 2011. Then by 2014, 2015, another recession was knocking on the door. By 2016, Buhari came in, crude oil prices fell. I remember that by January or February 2016, a barrel of crude oil was selling for $27 per barrel. Of course, another recession hit our economy. Things went down. 2019, when we thought we were coming out of it, 2020, COVID came, another recession. So, which means the past 24 years, we've witnessed 3 recessions, 1 per every 8-year cycle. So what that tells me is the 4th recession is around the corner. So it's not a question of, is it going to happen? It's a question of, when is the next recession coming? So I threw the question out there to all of us. When the 4th recession comes in, where will you be? Will you be poorer? Will you be richer? Will you be prepared, or will you be unprepared? Where will you invest your money? Are you going to look for another not Pesco or not Pesco? What do you call all those Ponzi scheme investment? Are you going to put all your money into another stock market that's going to crash and leave you poorer? So the question is, where will you be when the next recession hits? And this recession can literally be next week, to be honest. It could be next month. Because by the time they start the protest, they want to start next week, nobody knows where that's going to take us. We know the beginning of a thing, we don't know the end. So if we start protests next week and that leads to political crisis and that triggers of another recession, where is it going to end? So you need to plan. And the best planning you need to do is knowledge. And that's what we're sharing today. All right. So ask that question again. Where are you going to be when, not if, when the 4th recession, when it hits? Next slide. So the advice is, you know what, look for investment vehicles. I mean, this list is not exhaustive, but I mean, just to guide us in our conversation. So your first option is paper instruments, stocks, bonds, fixed deposit, treasury bills. Now, the advantage of this instrument is that, you know what, they are easily convertible to cash. So for instance, you have an emergency to meet up by Tuesday. You can easily sell your shares. You give your stockbrokers instruction, sell XYZ bank for me. I need to raise 2 million naira. I mean, treasury bills, you can discount and sell immediately and get back your money with nominal value on it. Fixed deposit, you can access your funds the very same day. All right, so that's the advantage of paper instruments. All right, I mean, you can invest in precious metals. People are putting money in precious metals these days. Gold, silver, what have you. Of course, you can put money into your personal business or startups because those are vehicles that guarantees you higher interest. Of course, high risk investment because personal business can fail. Startup might never start eventually, and your funds are gone forever. Your hard-earned money gone forever. But I mean, those are vehicles. I mean, you have cryptos. You can invest in any kinds of crypto. I mean, investment. But the most important, the most solid is real estate. And that's why we call it real estate. It is real. Yeah, this is not paper investment. It is immovable. It's a fixed asset. From 1999 till date, like I said, I have personally witnessed 3 recessions, and I have seen how investment can be eroded in 24 hours, how hard-earned capital can vanish in the twinkle of an eye. But I haven't seen that happen to real estate, especially in a city like Lagos. If there's any investment that has withstood the past 3 recessions that I've seen in this country, it's been real estate. And that's why we call it real. It is real. It is physical. It is tangible. Well, I'm not saying put all your money into real estate, but at least put 50% of your capital into real estate. So if you have an asset of 100 million, I'm expecting that you'll have a real estate asset of 50 million. If you have a portfolio of 40 million, I'm expecting that you should add to that portfolio to at least 20 million should be into real estate. So that when all other investment disappears, real estate remains, nothing retains value like real estate. Most major businesses of the world today, undergirding their investment is real estate. I know banks in Nigeria today, major banks, one of the largest banks today, you would think that they're actually into banking. They're not into banking, they're actually into real estate. All their branches are bought in another real estate vehicle. Then they now rent those properties to the bank. So the bank is paying rent on the branch. On the surface, you will think, oh, you know what? This bank is huge. No, they are not into banking, they're into real estate. It's the same thing that McDonald's has done in the US. It's not a new strategy, but that's what smart investors are doing, because they don't realize that no matter how, big money spending, whatever you're doing is, the way it comes is the way it can go. But real estate, it's not going anywhere. Especially when there are certain factors which I'm going to discuss with us. Once those factors are in place, you can go to, even when it seems as if you make the wrong decision, for as long as some things are in place, all you need to do when it comes to real estate is just wait. Real estate, just fold your hands and wait. Time will wipe off your error. Time will wipe off the loss and put you in profit if it is real estate. Next slide. So the question then is, what are those things that drives opportunity in real estate? What are the things that create opportunity in real estate? And the most important is population growth. And I'm glad that most of us on this webinar today, we live in Lagos. Any city where you live in and the population is exploding like Lagos or Abuja or Port Harcourt, you can be rest assured that's an indication that anywhere you put money into real estate, you cannot lose. They can tell you, no, Badagry is outskirts. No, Mowe Bafo is outside of Lagos. No, Ekpe is too far. Nah. For as long as there is population growth, put your money there. And just go and wait. About 19 years ago, I invested in a property somewhere on the outskirts of Lagos. As at that time, it was a jungle. Right behind where you have Channels Television today, that is a city. Right behind Channels Television. As at that time, 2005, it was a swampy area, as in it was a jungle. They call it Isheri Oshun. A plot there, as at that time, was less than $1 million. 2004, 2005. Today, a plot of land in that location is 25-30 million. Now, look at the exponential increase in value. I'll give another example. Someone just corrected me. It's now 40 million. Same location less than $1 million. 2005. Today is 40 million. That is what real estate does to you. I'll give another example. I remember in 2004 when the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu conceived the Lekki Free Trade Zone. As at that time, it was a crazy idea. Question was, who's going to go to that place? It was like you're traveling to another country. The only viable, landmark that we knew of that place was I think, La Campagne Tropicana. Apart from that, nothing else along that corridor. Plots in those locations, they were selling for like 300,000 per plot, and nobody was buying. Nobody. Civilization then ended at VGC. Once you go past VGC, maybe LBS, Lagos Business School, that was when civilization ended 20 years ago. But within 10 years, because of population growth, I remember very well during the government of Fashola, during his first term, that corridor was zoned as the fastest developing corridor in the whole of sub-Saharan Africa. Why? What was driving population growth? So for you as an investor, once you see population growth, be rest assured that opportunities are right behind the population growth. And those are indices you should look out for. Just ask yourself, what will be the population of this environment in the next 5-10 years? If it's positive, if it's an upward trend, put your money in a real estate asset. Any real estate asset. I'm going to still discuss with us the things you should look out for. But once you see population growth, be sure that money follows. You know, like we say in business circle, money follows people. Money follows people. In real estate, money follows population growth. Secondly, government infrastructure. And that's why smart real estate investors are always on the lookout. What is government planning to do? What are they planning for this area? They are always knocking on the doors of physical planning. Are they changing the planning approval? What's government? Because they know that once an infrastructure comes to an area, it completely changes the dynamics of the value of real estate in that area. And a typical example is the Fourth Mainland Bridge. They've not even started, but the fact that they've pegged where the bridge will take off from and where it's going to land, that alone has been driving value in those two locations, in Ikorodu and in Etiosa. So for you as an investor, you need to keep your ears on the ground. What is government doing? 10 years ago, Ekpe was a no man's land, as in complete no man's land. Because I remember in those days, whenever I'm going to Ibadan, when Lagos-Ibadan Express Road was hell, I would drive to Ekpe, Ijebu-Ode, Ibadan. Ekpe was a village. Then Ambode came, because he's from Ekpe, put in infrastructure, built the roads. And even when he was done, Ekpe was still, nothing was happening. Then all of a sudden, Sanwo-Olu came and said, you know what? Lagos is going to do Lagos Film City, the new Lagos airport, contract awarded. Then all of a sudden, now they've started building the largest food logistics hub in the whole of Africa, the largest of its kind. It's going to be bigger than Mile 12 Market. They've already started. Not that they will, they've already started. And Sanwo-Olu wants to finish before he leaves because he wants to make sure that that's one of his signature projects he's going to leave behind. Now, what have those three projects done? Literally, I've seen Ekpe. I have friends who are doing projects in Ekpe, site and services. Plots of land have moved from 200,000 to like 6-7 million in Ekpe within a space of 3 years. Why? Because government is doing projects in Ekpe. So for you as an investor, those are the drivers, those are the pointers you should always be on the lookout for. What is government doing? Look at what Lekki Free Trade Zone have done to that access. Look at what Dangote Refinery have done to that access. Because I'm also into the political space. I knew Bale along that corridor that 15 years ago, they could literally feed. Now, those Bales are millionaires marrying 2-3 wives. Please pardon me. I didn't mean to insult anybody. But they could barely feed 15 years ago. But now, because of Free Trade Zone have come on board, Deep Sea Port has come on board, Dangote Refinery has come on board, that axis now, plots are going for tens of millions. So Omonili have become multi-millionaires, driving SUV, going to Dubai, marrying 2-3 wives. Why? Because government programs, government projects have completely changed the dynamics of that corridor. The most recent is the announcement and the commencement of the highway, Lagos-Calabar Highway. Now, what you should do as an investor is to begin to look at that entire corridor. That where is the line? Where is that road going to pass through? Because guess what? The next 5-10 years, that road is going to change the dynamics of real estate value along that corridor from Lagos to Calabar. And I know investors right now they've already started taking positions. They're looking for, okay, where's the alignment? Where are they what can I do? They're already taking positions. Within the past 8 months, prices have moved along that corridor. So for us, for you and I, these are things that create opportunities. Government infrastructure, population growth, all these are things that create opportunities in real estate investment. So if anybody says, no, it's outskirts. Where you are living today was once an outskirt 30 years ago. City center was once an outskirt 25, 30 years ago. But because of population growth, because of infrastructure, because of government projects, outskirts have now become city center. So the cycle continues. So what you call a village today, where nobody wants to go to, where nobody wants to invest in, today's village is tomorrow's city center. Because as population keeps expanding, as population keeps exploding, as there's pressure on the city will begin to move towards the village. And as the city begins to move towards the village, government infrastructure will also begin to move towards the village. And that's what creates value. So don't wait until village becomes city center. Invest in village today so that when village becomes a city tomorrow, a 1 million naira investment becomes 100 million naira. "20 years ago, when I used to run a company, Reader's World, where our office was, I don't know if any of you knows the place. It's called Motorway Center. It's right by 7-Up, right by the Express Road, just beside 7-Up Bottling Company, facing the Express Road. Even then, I was into real estate. This was like 2003. Our landlord then, who actually built motorways, I've forgotten his name now, maybe Mr. Olashoju or Olashokwe or something. I've forgotten the name of the man. Then an elderly man, I pray he's still alive. He told us, he said, when he bought that land in 1970, maybe 1976, I'm sure all of you will know Motorway Center. I mean, right past Ojota, if you're going towards the toll gate, it's on your left, Motorway Center. He said when he bought that land, maybe 1976, he mentioned one ridiculous amount of money. And he said, then people thought he was crazy. Why would you go and buy a land in the bush? Because that place was actually a bush as at the time he bought the land in 1976. But because the man is a seasoned investor, he knew that, okay, the bush one day will become the city. So he said he bought the land and he fenced it. And guess what happened? A year after he bought the land, the government of Obasanjo, then the military government, decided they were going to build Lagos-Ibadan Express Road. And the toll gate ended right in front of his land. And that was how within 3 years, the value of that land jumped up by 1,000%. And the man just kept the land there for another 20, 30 years until he now built Motorway Center in the 1990s. I'm sure if we do a valuation of that property today, I'm sure the property will, with my background, I probably put the value to like 60, 70 billion because it's a huge office complex on like 14, 15,000 square meters. It has a factory at the back, but he bought it for next to nothing. He literally bought a jungle in 1976. That principle is the same. It's been the same, it is the same today, and it will always be the same forever. Forget about the city center, except if you are deep pocket. Go into the jungle and go and invest in the jungle. Whichever way, put money into real estate. You can, like I said, that's why we call it real. It is solid. You cannot go wrong. You can't. Next slide, please. So the question then is, okay, well, Mr. George, okay, I want to invest in real estate. What kind of real estate, asset can I invest in? Starting point, bare land. That's the cheapest. Today, if all you have is 1 million, just 1 million naira, somewhere around in a bay, Badagry, what have you, there's somewhere you can get a land for 1 million naira. Okay, and as you begin to progress, you can now buy rental properties. All right, and if you want to buy rental properties, please come to Space and Shelter. All right, we deliver good projects. You just talk to Sheyi, talk to the team. They have lovely projects along the corridor, along the Lekpe corridor that they are doing. Lovely, fantastic finishing. All right, you can be rest assured that they will deliver. Not only deliver, they will deliver value. Not only will they deliver value, they will deliver quality because they have a track record. All right. And as you begin to progress, then you cannot begin to talk about commercial properties. All right. It's a progression. But starting point is you can get a bare land. And if you say, Space and Shelter, they are selling a unit for 60, 70 million. I can't afford 60, 70 million. I'll tell you how you can afford it. Let's go to the next slide. I'm sure all of you have heard the word before, caveat emptor. Okay, it's a legal term. It's a Greek word, Latin word that says buyers beware. We've been talking about opportunities in real estate, but there are also things you need to watch out for. Whenever I go for real estate, training and seminars and courses, and they're teaching us, about real estate marketing, they'll say, if you're advising your clients, what you should look at for is location. That the first law in investment real estate is location. Second law is location. Third law is location. It is location, location, location. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, after 20 years in this business, the first thing is not location. The first thing is title. The first and the most important thing is title. What title does the property have? Because guess what? The project can be beautiful, location can be great. If there is no title, if the title is not kosher, you're going to wake up one day and guess what? Every investment goes out through the window just because of a faulty title document. So I tell investors who want to invest into real estate, there's a reason why a lawyer went to school and studied law and you are not a lawyer. That extra money you're going to pay the lawyer can actually save your entire investment. Make sure that wherever you're putting your money to has a valid title document that is transferable. If title is in doubt, no matter how good the deal is, no matter how wonderful the project is, no matter how lovely the location is, I tell you, take a walk. What you are buying is title. So the title document must be kosher. Second thing, who are you buying from? Is the developer reputable? Do they have a track record? What have they done? I've seen, over the years, I've had to stop working with some developers because they put a project up in the market, you bring in subscribers, and it's story. And once a developer cannot deliver, it wipes away completely your investment. I'll give you an example. You put your 10 million naira into a project with the promise of delivering in 36 months. Then something goes wrong. Then after 36, 40 months, developer comes and says, we're going to refund your money. And they want to refund 10 million back to you. Of course, 10 million 3 years ago is not 10 million today. Look at it in Naira and Kobo terms in Nigeria. 10 years ago, 2014, dollar was less than 200. So which means if you had 10 million Naira in 2013, 2014, you have like $100,000. Today, the same 10 million cannot buy you $10,000. So if a developer collected 10 million naira from you 10 years ago and is funding your 10 million back in 10 years time, he's not giving you 10 million, he's giving you back 1 million. So if you're putting your money into a project, question is how reputable is the developer? And like I said, I can vouch for Space and Shelta. They are reputable. So once title document is confirmed, once developer is reputable, then you can now talk about location. Okay, how good is the location? How accessible is the location? What are the promises of the location? Now, apologies to the non-Christian on this platform, but I had to put this point there. You've got to pray before you invest. Oh, yes. Because there are times that, you know what, title can be good, project developers reputable, location is fantastic, you know, you've dotted all the I's, you've crossed all the T's, everything looks okay. And to no fault of everybody, to no fault of nobody, 2-3 years down the line, something happens and that project goes bunker. I'll give you a classic example. Pastor Machi Ashimolowo shared with us how he invested, you know, in a beach property in London. And after about 7 years, the city of London came and said, you know what, we want to build an Olympic stadium. This is the location that we want. And government took over the land. Whose fault? I have a classic example right now. One of my senior Egbons, where he lives along the Lekki-Epe corridor, he's been living there for like 12 years. Lovely estate. Now, government comes and says, we want to start the Lagos-Calabar Highway project. And because they are just starting now, they have to move the alignment of the road. They have to shift it. Now, in the process of shifting the alignment, the estate is not negatively affected, which means their houses are going to go down. And this is why I say, you know what, at times you've got to pray. Even when you've crossed all the T's and you've ticked all the boxes, you still need to ask God and say, God, should I? Because you know what, it's only God that knows tomorrow. So while we do the analysis, while we make sure that, you know, all things are in place, we ourselves also need to do the extra and say, okay, you know, what's going to happen? God, just because this is your investment we're talking about, this is your hard-earned money. All right? Okay, so let's go to the next slide because I'm sure we're going to have questions at the end of my presentation. So I would like to go more into the question and answer session. Okay, there's something with the slide. Can you remove the black spot on the slide, admin? Thank you. So what are the challenges that we all face, either as an investor, either as a developer? Of course, the number one thing is funding. How to access funding. For developers, it's a huge problem. For homeowners, home buyers, it's a huge problem. For investors, it's a huge problem. Or like some other climate whereby, you know what, you can walk into a bank and obtain single-digit interest loan. The reverse is the case in Nigeria. And even banks don't want to lend money to real estate. I mean, banker friends will tell me, Obafemi, you know, real estate it's not a wet transaction. And what do they mean by that? That it's not a wet transaction. In other words, there's no daily turnover. That they would rather put money, you know, into a business model that has a daily income. You know, a restaurant, a food chain business, you know, or something in maybe a business into oil and gas. That real estate, you know, they can't wait 24, 36 months. So it's a major problem for developers and even for homeowners. You know, when we talk about mortgage in Nigeria, I'm always quick to say, no, sorry, we don't have a mortgage system in Nigeria. What we call mortgage is not mortgage, it is term loan. It is term loan. Mortgages you are paying 16, 17, 18%, at times 22%. That is not mortgage, that is term loan. And that has limited people's ability, you know, to invest into real estate. What an average employee pays in Nigeria as rent per annum is more than what you will pay as down payment on a house if you're living in America. I mean, you're paying 10 million, 12 million, 8 million, 7 million per annum to rent a house along the Lekki-Epe corridor. That's $5, $6, $7, $8, $9,000. That's a down payment for a house. If you were living in Atlanta or Louisiana, what have you? So these are the challenge, one of the major challenges that we have today in the real estate sector. Okay, another challenge that we have is the poor legal system. If justice is slow, business will be slow. Because when people don't keep the sanctity of contract, and you're not going to get justice in court, it affects everything. Let me give a classic example. So I structured a JV for a client of mine. Long time ago, long before Banana Island exploded to what it is today. I'm talking about 2009. So, I structured this joint venture, we signed, and the agreement between myself and the developer says, you know what, once I deliver on this JV, you give me a 3-bedroom waterfront unit and you pay me 30 million. And we signed black and white. Because he wasn't so confident that I could deliver on the JV because of the owner of the land and whatever. But guess what? 2-3 months negotiation, we delivered. So I sent in my invoice. The moment the plan was out, I'm like, yeah, you need to allocate a unit to me. And the developer told me to my face, he said, Mr. George, I'm just going to pay you 30 million. I cannot give you a unit. Go to court. That was what he said to me. He said, go to court. You know why he said I should go to court? Because he knows we have a poor legal system. I'm into real estate. Today, most of the judgment that are just getting to Supreme Court on so many lands today, most of those cases started in the 90s. So they've been in court for 30 years. 30 years. From High Court to appeal to Supreme before judgment, 30 years. That's why suddenly you wake up, you hear one day that, they said, the whole of Oregon belongs to one family. And they are beginning to mark all the walls. And you're wondering, from where to where? There are companies, there are banks here. But didn't they do their risk? They did. But those cases started 30, 35 years ago. So our poor legal system is impacting on the development of the real estate sector. Because once there's an issue, you can't get quick judgment from the court. So that's a major challenge. Another challenge you have today is inflation, devaluation of our currency. I'll give another example. A developer signs a JV agreement with the landowner, maybe say January last year, and says, okay, you know what, on these 4,000 square meters, I'm going to build 30 flats. Owner takes 14 flats, developer takes 16 flats. The developer comes to the market, sells the flat to you at 80 million. As at the time when dollar was, say, 600 naira. And knowing fully well that of all his construction costs, apart from sand and cement, every other thing is imported. Iron rod is imported. Tiles are imported. Sanitary wares are imported. Cupboards, wardrobes are imported. Lightings, everything imported. But he has done his BOQ based on $600 to a naira. And on that basis, he sold the flat to you at 60 million. Then he moved to site in June. Then by December, he had barely finished foundation. Dollar had moved to 1,000. By the time he got to the first slab, first floor, dollar is now 1,006. So what he thought he was going to finish with 40 million had already moved to 100 million. So how does it now come back to you, the investor, and say, sorry, Mr. Femi, I can no longer sell the flat to you at 60 million. It's now 100 million. And we have loads of cases like that today in the market, whereby a developer cannot move forward, it cannot move out, simply because of inflation, devaluation of our currency. This is also a major challenge. Another challenge is, of course, lack of infrastructure. Like I did say earlier on, it is infrastructure that drives the value of real estate assets. I can build a 10-bedroom mansion in my village. The difference between that 10-bedroom mansion in my village and the 10-bedroom mansion in Banana Island is the location. And the location is also determined by the kind of infrastructure available. And this is where we always encourage government. Government should invest in infrastructure so that real estate value can appreciate. Of course, another challenge you have, of course, is fraudsters. And when I say fraudsters, I'm not just talking about fraudsters, within the real estate sector, even in government circle. We've seen cases whereby you want to buy a land, you want to invest in a project. And even the people where you're going to do the search, I don't want to mention names, okay? You find out that there's a connivance between the public sector and the private sector. And the lawyer will tell you, oh, we did our search. It was genuine. I'll give you a classic example. I saw the property for a bank on Oroke Drive. Very prime property in Ikoyi. It was when the other guy bought that they realized that there were actually two CFOs. The bank had one. The other guy who sold to us also had one that was cloned. And by the time we took it to where, it was confirmed to be genuine. So which means they were both working hand in hand. Like I said, I've been careful because this is being recorded, so I don't want to mention names. But you just have to be careful, extra careful, for you as a developer, for you as an investor. And that's why at times I advise investors, when you're investing into a property, even when your lawyer have done all the searches and everything, still do your unconventional search. What do I mean by that? Go to that location. If there's an estate next door, go and knock on the door. If you have a friend there, my friend, when did you buy? Who did you buy from? What's your own title document? Who was the initial owner? Go to the environment, go and ask from people. That's what I call the unconventional search. This is after a lawyer have done all the legal search. Go and ask, go to that community, people that were there before your project got there, people that were there before the developer got there. Go and ask them questions. You will be shocked the things you can unearth by just doing that. And you need to take that extra measure to protect your investment. It is very important. Okay? All right, we can spend the whole day on that, but you can't just be too careful. Next slide, as I begin to round up so that we can go to question and answers. Next slide. So this is my advice. I say carpe diem, in other words, seize the moment. And what do I mean by this? Today, right now, there are opportunities everywhere, right now. Don't say, well, let me wait. I'm trying to save up to 10, 20 million. No. Look for an opportunity today. Make it your target that, okay, this is July. Between now and December, I'm going to invest in real estate. No matter how much you have, even if just 500,000. Even if it's just don't wait until you have 100 million or 50 million. Identify an opportunity. Maybe some of the projects that Space and Shelta they are doing, or the ones they want to start. If you can't afford a terrace unit, maybe a flat, identify an opportunity. Once you've done that, the question then is, how much do I have? If you look at how much you have, question then is, how much can you access? So if you have a paid employment, maybe you have a cooperative where you work. So maybe your cooperative can loan you another 5 million or another 10 million. Maybe the bank can loan you some money. If you have a good paying job, maybe you can get a mortgage, because I know some banks still give money once they see that you work in a particular company and they know they can guarantee, your salary. Some banks still give such mortgages. My friend just bought a property this week on Oregu Road. And she said, Mr. George, it was a combination of equity and loan. So she put down some of the money, but because she works in a good, institution, they advanced that mortgage with both. She got a very lovely property in a fully serviced estate on Oregu Road in Ikeja. Space and Shelta have one or two of such projects along the Lekpe corridor. I'm sure they can hook you up with that. All right. Question then is, how can you leverage on other people's money? I like what people are beginning to do these days. So friends come together. They want to invest into real estate. They can't afford, one person can't afford. So you know what? They put funds together. So if the asset is 70 million and all I have is 15 million, then my friend comes in another 10 million. Party C comes another 15 million. Then your cousin in the UK comes another 15 million. 4 or 5 of you, you leverage on each other's money, put the 75 million naira together, buy the property together, co-own the property together. And you can either rent, convert to short let, as it's generating income after 2-3 years down the road, like the things I've discussed with you. Maybe suddenly government builds a new road, a new project comes to that vicinity, the value of the property goes up, 75 million naira becomes 120, 140 million naira. The 5 of you can agree, you know what, let's sell 150 million. You take that capital, move further down the road to another project that they're just constructing, plow the 150 million there, wait another 2-3 years, value appreciates, you exit, go to another place. This time around, you buy 2-3 properties, wait another, because assets increases in value over time. And before you know what's going on, within 5 years, you've built your capital from 75 million naira to 250, 300 million. So don't wait until you alone can raise all the money. Leverage on other people's money. Leverage your relationship. Look for friends who are like minds with you that you can agree together, pull funds together. And I always advise when friends are doing it, because I've also seen such arrangement gone south. So I advise, document it. The least you can do is to register an SPV. With 250,000 naira, you can incorporate a company. Sheyi, Femi, Tolakwe, Nigerian Limited. And all of you would own 20% equity each. So 5 of you owns 100% equity, and all of you put that money together, and that company now, so you now buy the property in the name of that company. And you document it, make sure it's documented, ironcladed contract, then you begin to grow. That's how people create investment club. Those that go far, they don't go alone. Don't wait until you have, it's not possible, except if you're lucky, 1 out of 10. That's only when you can be able to muzzle the capital you need on your own. You've got to leverage. Leverage your relationship. Leverage your relationship, leverage on where you work, leverage on contacts. Okay, leverage on other people's money. Okay, and this just occurred to me again. I think I need to go back to that point that when you're doing things, when you're investing in property, always pray and make sure that you don't make decisions alone based on what you can see. I just remember the story. I was talking to a client of mine who wants to invest in a commercial property in Ikoyi, and a bit older than myself, well experienced, well established in the oil and gas industry. And he shared a story with me, and I'm going to share that story to end my presentation. He said one of his friends in Warri in Delta State, had this huge parcel of land, massive land. And the man was going to sell because he just felt like, what am I doing with this huge land? Just lying there. He's had it for maybe he bought it in the 90s. And he was going to sell. And he said, his wife prayed. And the wife said, I don't have the peace that we should sell. Let's just hold on to the property. And he said, that decision didn't make sense because they could have sold at good money, for good money, bring the money to the city center and invest in better property in the city. And he said, well, you know what? He decided to listen to his wife, to take the wife's advice. He said 2 years after, a major oil and gas company, and he mentioned the name, which I wouldn't mention, came to him and said, oh, they like that location. They want to build a satellite town at that location. And they leased the land from him for 25 years and built a world-class residential estate. When I say world-class, he said it is world-class. Just imagine a major oil and gas company in Nigeria building a residential estate for their staff. So just picture what they would do. And they told him that, you know what, it's a 25 years. After 25 years, if we don't need the location again and we can't agree on terms, it reverts back to you. Imagine if he had sold that land. So I end on that note that whatever decisions you make sure you pray before you make decisions when you are making an investment decision in real estate. Like I said, no matter your level right now, there's an opportunity out there for you. Get on the real estate ladder. The best time to buy real estate asset was yesterday. The next best time is today. So buy one today and wait. Don't wait to buy. Buy and wait. Because as time goes on, value increases. Population is exploding. Things are changing. Values are going up. Invest in real estate asset. And if you need advice, we're here for you. You want good projects, Space and Shelta are there for you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time. I'll take some few questions before I sign out. Thank you. Over to you. Over to you, Bobby.
Wow. Guys, please, did you hear what I heard this evening? Can you just please give a rousing round of applause and really thank you to Mr. Obafemi George. This is really amazing. You see, I'm a lawyer, so most of the things he said, it's not like they're coming, too newly, but oh my days, my notes is full and so many ideas are just jumping in my head of how we can actually leverage the opportunities that are bound in the real estate space. And I'm so glad that I'm opportune to be in the room this evening. And I really want to thank you, Mr. Obafemi George, for your wealth of experience that you have shared with us tonight. You really didn't hold back. You just poured out all the years of experience that you have garnered. And we're really so excited to be privileged to have these conversations with you this evening. We're so grateful. Thank you. Can you guys just say thank you? Thank you. This is literally a masterclass that you could have paid heavily to hear this same set of things. And so it's such a big deal, and we're so grateful. It's such a loaded session, and I must say that quite loaded. A few things that I took note of, too many things. That jungle will never remain a jungle. Go and buy that jungle. Literally, go and buy it now. And that really, really came home to me. And one thing you also said that was so strategic for me is how that we'll try most of the time to raise all the funds, the 50 million, the 70 million to buy just one, for yourself. But you can actually leverage on people's monies. You can leverage on friends and families, people that you have the same, kind of, your head is in the same space. Let's put it that way. You can put these things together and then get going in the space. And one other thing you said that was so important to me today was that real estate retains value regardless of economic instability. That is so profound. Anywhere in the world. And, the examples you gave of commercial banks who are mostly just, doing real estate. And that's really so good to know. And thank you for the nuggets you shared concerning how we can tidy up our hands to ensure that we are covered, our interests are protected, and we're not telling stories that such. So grateful to be in the room this evening. We want to quickly do something before we go into the question and answer session. Would you oblige us, sir? Just a few things, just two things. Thank you, sir. Sure. And for people who are in the room currently, there are prizes to be won. So please don't snooze. I want you to answer a couple of questions before we then go ahead. You can then begin to send in your questions. And so Mr. Obafemi George will do justice to them. The first question I would like you to answer, there is a prize of 10,000 Naira worth of airtime that is up for grabs tonight, and I don't want you to snooze on it. Don't sleep on a bicycle. This one is real, right? The first question I would like you to answer is, mention 3 building types. Mention 3 building types Space and Shelta has developed in the past 2 years. Space and Shelta, our hosts tonight, mention 3 building types that they have developed in the past 2 years. Right? Answer that in the chat box. Well, I'm looking, and our guys are also looking, critically to see who is jumping on it. Right? And this other one, okay, residential, commercial, and industrial. Is that the answer? Our guys are looking, our admin are taking a look at the chat box and they're picking these responses. 10K airtime for grabs. You don't want to miss that. 10K can do something in our current day Nigeria, right? Keep the answer coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. At the end of the question and answer, at the end of this, we're going to be giving this prize. This second one, I would like you to go and answer it right on our Space and Shelter Instagram page. And that's where the real deal is going to happen. Mention, are we ready? The Instagram handle. You are going to win this prize if you pay close attention. Mention 3 locations. You know, Mr. Bafemi in his presentation kept talking about Space and Shelter. We got you. We got you. We got you. We got you. For real, Space and Shelter has got you if it comes to your investment in the real estate, right? Mention 3 locations where Space and Shelter's developments are situated. Mention 3 locations where Space and Shelter's developments are currently situated. Can you run to Instagram right now? I'm running because I also need to win this. I'm running into Instagram. Trust me, I don't know. They didn't tell me before. Wow. Some people are, you're not answering on this page. Your answer is on the Instagram page. So please go ahead now and jump on the Instagram page and let's have your, you have given the answer, Oluwa Banke. You have given the answer. I don't know whether it's correct though. I have no idea. But that 10K is going to somebody today. And today is the day that the person goes home with that 10K. 10K airtime is not a small deal in this current economy. Right. While we have that going on, I want to bring on the on board right away for just a few seconds or minutes, right? The Instagram link is right on the chat box. So if you want to take advantage of that particular price, please run. That link is there. Our admin is placing it there, as we speak. I want the business development manager for Space and Shelter to come give us a product presentation. But is this the best time? Given that, I hope people will not then get the answer. No, don't worry. You can go ahead. Right. Are we to answer by posting a comment post your comment on the most recent post of Space and Shelter, the most recent post of Space and Shelter. 10K is up for grabs. 10,000 naira worth of airtime is up for grabs. Wow, that is really remarkable. All right. Okay. So moving on. The link is in the chat box. Right. So yeah, can we have the business development manager give us please?
Sorry.
Can you meet this mute this fellow? Thank you, admin. Appreciate this gift that you will be winning today is going to be given at the end of this. This is happening very shortly. So yeah, let's have the BDM, the business development manager, give us a quick presentation for the Space and Shelter products, and then we'll dive quickly into question and answer. Get your question ready, Mr. Obafemi George is still very much with us, loaded with all the wealth of experience, and is ready to do justice to the questions that you may have. Can you please welcome the BDM, please? Thank you. Over to you, sir. Okay, it appears we are having a technical glitch. Apologies for that. The admin will let me know when we are ready to move on to this product's presentation. You really want to know the product that Space and Shelter has for you and I, so that we can leverage the opportunities that they are going to be bringing to the table. I mean, that is the essence of this kind of conversation. You want to know that 500,000 naira in your hand can actually generate some ROI for you when you put your money with Space and Shelter. That 1 million naira, that 2 million naira can do something quite remarkable for you in your investment portfolio. So please stay back and let's be ready to have that conversation. Admin, kindly let me know. Can we unmute the BDM, please? Can we unmute the BDM quickly so that he can quickly do this presentation? Hello, anybody? Okay, you are unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Please go ahead.
We can hear you. Unmute, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. I believe you can all hear me.
Loud and
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, Samuel. Thank you so much for that wonderful session. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for that insightful and wonderful. I also want to appreciate that for this privilege. Thank you so much, sir. All right, I just want to walk on straight from our space to our shelter. But many of us are desired to have home, in Lekki and environ. We have quite a number of products for you people and something that we want to plug in because they are quite affordable and they are fantastic. All right, the next slide. So we have our 4-bedroom fully detached duplex, and we have it going for a very, very affordable price at 135. The next slide, you see this particular product is actually very affordable and it's very fantastic. And it's situated at Lekki Orchard Road, to be precise. Ocean Bay Estate. We have it at Ocean Bay Estate and as well as Benevista Estate. And this is a property that has wonderful features. They are all ensealed. They have extra mezzanine floor. This is for some of us, that would like to have our office at home. You want to work from home, you want to have your corner to yourself, or you want to have a kind of a prayer room or a meditative room. It's a place that you want to plug into. It's an environment that is quite very conducive. It has excellent rental and resale value. And this particular estate, the two estates, they have a mini gymnasium, mini recreational center, and it's quite very conducive. And it's an environment that is highly secure. Next slide. The level of security is quite very high. All right, so these are the buildings. Now, just like the way you are seeing it, for you to, just like the way you are seeing it right on the screen, that's the way you see it when you come for inspection. We have it at Benevista, we have it at Ocean Bay Estate, and these are fully detached. Some people call it standalone, but it's fully detached. These are the interiors. You can see the kitchen is fully fitted kitchen. The living room is quite very spacious. And you can see the extra mezzanine floor, whereby you can just have it. That's private time, working private time. We also have a 4-bedroom semi-detached duplex, and it's going for 95 million. Very, very cheap. And you can see the next slide as well. See the the structure. We have the semi-detached also as a ocean base, and we have it as Benefita Estate. Hospital, all located at Hospital Kilometers, and they are newly, and come with corporate security agencies within the estate. And I can tell you this for free. We have people God in this estate. You don't need to panic, this and that, you can say, all right, that's the structure as well. Next slide. It's an interior facility. So we also have a 3-bedroom terrace duplex, and this is located at the University View Estate, right opposite Lagos Business School. Very close to our Pramadesanya Estate. This 3-bedroom terrace is going for 70 million, and this estate is solar power, whereby it's self-service. It's like a mini estate within the estate itself, and you want to take advantage of this opportunity. Why? Because it's an environment that it's an environment that is quite very, very, very good for business. It's good for if you want to do Airbnb, you want to buy and resell, you can see the building. Just as you are seeing it on the screen. It's not like what I order versus what I get. You don't get the same way. You can see the interior as well. So these products, they are quite affordable, and there's nothing to be bothered about. We have quite a number of them have been sold out. We also have 4-bedroom terrace duplex, and it's going for 75 billion. The price we are giving is because of this webinar, and we are giving a discount of 5 to 10% thereabouts because of this webinar. If you are meeting us by next week, it might not be the same. So take the opportunity now. Very important. Now, these are the pictures. These are the pictures of the 4-bedroom terrace duplex. This is the interior, and the major landmark in all of our products. You don't have to struggle. If you want to stay within your estate and get everything you can ever be in need of. We have malls, we have banks, we have business around for some of us that we have children, we have schools, from secondary to tertiary that that can take care of your of your children or whatever. We have both private, special, and general hospital around. You are covered. So what are we trying to say in essence? All these properties, they are situated at the heart of developed environment, at the heart of Lekki, where you can get everything you can ever be in need of with ease. All right. And for you to sign up for any of our products, we are going to share our product link in the chat box. You can easily sign up for any of these products, and believe me, you'll be glad to. Right. Thank you so much. You can relax as we give you a short video of another product called Home Initiative. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Yes, there's a video that is supposed to be playing right about now. Can we just hang on just a moment for it before we delve into the question and answer session? Can you hear my voice, please? Can you hear me? Yes, a video was supposed to be playing and we're trying to just do that. Can you hear me? Oh, great. Okay, so while we sort that out, now the moment has come. Let's get our questions ready so that we can move on to the question and answer session. We have our key facilitator is still in the room, is still ready to answer the questions that you may have. And of course, the people who have won the pet thing is still cooking as I speak. So yeah, let's just hang on a bit for that. So do you have a question? Can you put it in the chat box? I'll read it out to Mr. Obafemi George, and he will do justice to them, and we'll take a few questions and we'll call this a day. Can I please request the presence of Mr. Obafemi George to come again into the chat room and come on video so that we can then begin to take the Q&A.
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you.
I'm here.
Oh, great. Yay, you're here. Good to see you again, sir. So questions, let's keep our questions rolling in. And so that we can have them answered. If you have a question, you can raise your hands, or you can also type your question in the chat box so that I can read them out and have Mr. Obafemi George. Beautiful. Sir, we have a question right here. The question says, how is the facility managed for water, electricity, and shared services? Do you have a private firm who does this? And what is the cost of these services? I believe this question is towards the Space and Shelter team. I feel like the question is asking that your facilities that you are building, the shared services, how is it managed? Because that's also a thing. How is it managed? You have a private firm who does this, and what is the cost for these services? Okay, let's have.
I'm sure that question is meant for Space and Shelter.
Absolutely. So let's have questions that relate directly to the teaching and the facilitation of Mr. Obafemi today. Too many things, and I know that you have a few questions in your heart that will help you to further mine the things that he has shared with us today. Now, you talked about something quite important, sir, and it's a pain point for any average Nigerian, and that's the state of our judicial system, the justice situation, how slow and almost impossible it is in Nigeria to get justice, particularly when there's been, an infringement on your rights, and particularly talking about the real estate space. How do we then, this is a big deal. It can literally make all the investment that one has put together for years go up in flames in just a few minutes, right? How are we going to now say because of that? Are we going to shy away from investing at all, or how exactly do we then, navigate this situation?
Yeah. So what advice investors, clients, developers, whichever, wherever you fall into within that value chain, is that number one, do your due diligence. Spend money to do your due diligence. Let me give you a classic example. Just about this time last year, one of my proteges brought a transaction to me somewhere along the Lekki-Epe corridor, and he said, this surveyor friend of his, he has a contract with the Omoniles, blah, 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 40 acres of land to clear, and he's just looking for sponsors, someone to finance it, and on the surface, everything looked so good to me. I looked at it, but from experience, I'll tell you 3 things that I did, and it cost me millions of naira. First thing that I did, I went to the land physically. He submitted all the documents he claimed to have. I got a guy to take a drone to the land. And I told him, fly the drone. I want to have all the coordinates. Take all the pictures of the land. The entire 40 acres. So he got a drone, took all the pictures. Number two, I now got a lawyer who I know that is very good along that corridor. I gave her the details. This lawyer went to Ministry of Justice in Alausa. By the time she began to dig out facts, in fact, the moment she mentioned the name of the family, they said, there's a case against this family in court to Lagos State government. She said, Oga, don't go near it. That as a matter of fact, that land has been taken away from them by the government. They've compensated with another land somewhere else. And guess what? They had genuine documents to sell that land to me. So which means I could have gone to get investors who would have put in hundreds of millions. Then guess what? One day we'll just get to site and they will kick us out. Of course, I spent about maybe 3 million. That could have been a loss of hundreds of millions. But I spent 3 million to save me, to save my name, to save my integrity, and to save investors' funds. So if you're buying any property, start with a lawyer. That's the least you can do. I know Nigerians don't like paying lawyer. They're like, why should I pay 250,000 naira? Maybe I'm just buying a house. No. You know that sticker we see on the car. What the lawyers they do self. Pay a lawyer. Do your search. That's where to start from. If eventually you've now been defrauded and shafted, I tell people, cut your losses. Cut your losses and move on. I've never been to the court before on a land matter, and I could have. I have so many chances I could have taken people to court, but why do I want to go to court when the child I give birth today will have been married before the case is determined? So for me, once I get defrauded, and I've been defrauded, not once, not twice, I cut my losses and I just move on. I cut my losses and I move on. You see, you win some, you lose some.
Absolutely.
Don't say because there are fraudsters out there, you're never gonna invest in real estate. Invest in real estate. Lose the one that you will gain will make up for the one that you've lost.
Absolutely. Wow.
So take the risk. Do your due diligence. Do as much as you can in terms of due diligence.
Right.
So that at the end of the day, you not get shafted. You will know that you've done your best. It wasn't that you just walked blindly into a transaction or into an investment. People just buy properties, they don't have title, they don't. Even well-educated people, you're wondering, but Oga, I can't be in a hurry. I put you 300 million naira in a property. I'm in a hurry. Hurry for what? I have clients that, even though I'm not a lawyer, I'm now the one sorting out title documents. So the director that have resigned, you have to now go and meet one director who has now resigned, who have retired, to now sign and be backdating stuff so that you can just submit title documents and get it registered. And like, okay, what were you thinking of 10 years ago when you are buying this? Hey, it was my friend that brought it to me. A friend brought it to you and you just paid because a friend brought it to you. No. Do your due diligence. Be willing to spend a fraction. If the cost of investment is 10 naira, be willing to spend a kobo.
Right.
Yeah. Pay a lawyer, pay a surveyor. A fraction. We call it transaction cost. 1%. Budget particular amount of money for that transaction, apart from the cost of purchase, apart from the cost of investment. Put something that you're going to spend on due diligence. That's nice. And beyond that, like I did say earlier on, please pray.
Right. That's like the biggest thing to do, actually. Thank you so much for that. That is so remarkable and quite straight to the point. I like when you said pay your lawyers. That's what we like to hear. Where lawyers want to just hear.
I know. You don't take notes.
We like that. So pay your lawyer. It puts set an amount apart, which is for due diligence, and go on. I mean, I was so shocked when you said you had to get a drone to go and check the size, the boundaries, all of that. That's a big deal. But again, when you look at what is at stake, you don't want to mess around with that kind of transaction. And so that's super, really, really insightful. A question here, somebody, but I feel like you've already answered it in a sense. As an investor with your wealth of experience, has there been any time that real estate business has low ROI? That's one. It now also says, also, you can share your regrettable experiences in real estate, despite crossing the T's and dotting the I's. That's that question. But we have just a few minutes to answer questions. So I don't know whether you got that, sir.
I did. Go ahead. Read the other ones. I got that.
Let's read the other one. The other one is, thank you for the informative session. I'd like to know where one can acquire lands or rentals for as little as 1 million naira, as you mentioned. That's the second question. Let me just take all the questions in a row so that you can speak to all of them. Oh, is that fine, sir?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Apart from another question here is, apart from the newly built house, does Space and Shelter also sell land? So Space and Shelter, over to you. Apart from building houses, do you also sell land? Another question here is, real estate today is capital intensive. Is there hope for the low income earners who don't have hundreds of thousands, not to talk of millions, to acquire property, even co-owning? And I feel like you mentioned that in your facilitation, but again, it's not a bad idea to reiterate. So this person is asking for low-income earners how they can leverage the opportunities in the real estate space, regardless of the capital intensity. The final question here, when buying land, how do we, oh my days, another one just came in. When buying land, how do we know further down the line that flooding won't affect it? This person is talking about land, of course, in Lagos. How do we know that flooding would not affect the land? The last question here is, you mentioned that knowing government strategic plans should guide and direct our investment. You also said we should find this information from the ministry. How and where else can we have access to this information? Those are the questions, sir. So over to you, sir.
All right, good. So I'll just quickly run through it since my time is almost up. Returns on investment. Oh, of course, there have been times when ROI on properties have been low, especially rental properties. Well, okay, so for me personally, I do high net worth properties in Ikoyi, Banana Island. That's been my forte for the past 17, 18 years. And we've seen times that, prices, rental income have dipped. Before we had the second recession in 2016, most of the high net worth properties that we managed in Ikoyi, rents were being charged in dollars. There were some flats that were doing as much as $100,000. 2011, 2012, 2016. By 2016, when the market crashed, when recession came, properties were charging $100,000 for. We went back to like 12, 13, 14 million naira. Yeah. So you can imagine an asset that a client bought, maybe we bought for the client in 2007, 2008 for $1 million, and it's been earning $80,000, $100,000 for like 6 years. Then all of a sudden we had to go back to 14, 15 million naira. Why? Because the market had crashed. Yes, there have been times like that. Even for me personally, I've made investment that I regretted. And I give you a classic example. About 10 years ago, a friend of mine was doing a lovely shopping complex somewhere in Oniru. Beautiful. As at that time, there was no shopping complex like that in the whole of, via extension. So it was an emotional decision. I bought two, one upstairs, one downstairs. And I remember paying 14 million for that shop, 20 square meters, 14 million. And I remember that at that time I bought that shop, I actually brought in dollars from the US. I brought in $80,000 from the US to buy that shop. 14 million naira, 2014. I sold the same shop this year for 17 million naira. Terrible investment. So what cost me exchange rate of $80,000 in 2014? I sold for less than $10,000. I could have used that money to buy a flat in Atlanta in 2014. And that flat in Atlanta today could have been $150,000. So, oh yes, I've made terrible decisions. So, and that's one thing about real estate. You win some, you lose some. So it hasn't been, a roller, a beautiful, smooth sailing ride for the past 15 years. Not at all. So if you're coming to it, be prepared that you're going to lose money, but you will also make money. Okay, in as much as it retains value, you will get it wrong. Maybe 1 out of 5 or 2 out of 6. So there are regrets. Someone said, "Oh, where can I buy a plot for 1 million?" Well, this is a program of Space and Shelter, so I can't be marketing other people's products. But if you go online, there are so many developers who are selling sites and services. Outskirts, along Express Road, Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, some in Ijebu, some even in Ibadan. All right. But like I said, do your research. Get a lawyer, do a background check on the developer. Don't just go and throw away money somewhere and your money disappears, because you also have a lot of guys out there today who are just conning people, of their added money. They'll tell you, "Oh, deposit for a plot of land, just pay 150,000 naira and be paying 30,000 naira for the next 36 months. And 36 months down the line, no land, no survey, no allocation, no nothing. Okay, so be very, very careful. But in as much as there are fraudsters out there, there are also genuine developers. So as Space and Shelter is building houses, there are also genuine developers who are building sites and services. But do your background check. Make sure that you've done your best in terms of background checks. Also, low income earners, how can you invest in properties? During my presentation, I did advise that, pull funds together. Form an investment club. So if all you can part with is 250,000, look for 10 of you that can part with 250,000 every month. So 10 of you contribute 250,000 every month. That is 2.5 million naira a month. That means in a year, 10 of you can actually raise a capital of 30 million naira. And with that 30 million, you can take position in a project. So if Space and Shelter is doing a project and they're selling a semi-detached for 90 million naira, with 30 million naira, you can make a down payment. Off plan, you buy off plan. So any project they're starting right now probably won't finish until 24 months time. So 30 million first year, 30 million second year, 30 million third year, that's 90 million. You paid for the property by the time they are done. So that's why I always advise, Africans, we always like, me, myself, and I. If you can't go alone, look for friends and partner with people. All right. Someone said, "Oh, how do I know that if I'm buying a property, it won't get flooded in the future?" You know what I tell people? When you're buying a property, go and inspect during rainy season. Don't buy property in December. Buy property in April, May, June. Even when you've inspected in February, tell the developer, "Oh, I'm traveling. I will come back. I'll be back in May." So the day is raining heavily. When you see report that Lagos has flooded, quickly drive to that site. drive to that location. You will see the real, because you see, at times we like to put our best foot forward as marketers. Go there where it has just finished raining. Then you will see that, okay, you know what? This area is prone to flooding. All right, that's what I can advise. Then someone said, "Oh, how can I get information, about what government is doing and what have you?" Let me tell you one thing about government. Government always like to look good. So oftentimes when they have a new project, they put it on their X handle. You see it on the governor's page. They want to announce it to you because politicians love to look good. Lagos State government, we are the first to conceive so. They will laud it. So make sure you are following them on their Instagram handle. Make sure you are following them on their X handle. They will always announce those things. Don't wait until you have a friend in Laos who can give you the details. No, they always make noise. They laud it. So I know most people don't like politicians. People don't like government. But for you as an investor, government is your friend though. So go and follow their handles. The Commissioner for Environment, Commissioner for Physical Planning, they are on Instagram. Go and follow them. Make sure you know what they're doing. Both at the state level and at the federal level. So that once they release that information, you see that, it's in their plan. They might not do it until 3 years' time. But because they've announced it, go and take a position. Go and take a position. And for those of you, maybe you are in the diaspora, I want to invest in space and shelter property. You live in London, you live in America, and you're like, how do you know whether that location they advertise is good? You have someone who lives in Lagos. Call a friend and tell a friend, you know what? Bosso, I want to invest in the terrace house that space and shelter they are doing in Orchard Road. Please, Sunday afternoon, when you're done at church, go and help me check the property. Independent of the developer, send your relative to go and look at it for you and send you pictures. So don't wait until you are in the country, physically before you make a decision. Send someone to go and have a look at at the property for you. Or you're in a WhatsApp group, find out from your friends. Do you know someone who has bought something from Space and Shelter in the past 2 years? You know someone who has just ask around. You will find someone who knows someone who has. Oh, yes, I know them. I remember about 17 years ago, I had some friends, they eventually became friends. They moved back from London, wanted to buy a property in Lekki. Okay, the other one was still living in London. One had moved back with her husband. And I showed them a property in Lekki Phase 1. And I was expecting them to pay. And they just started asking questions all over. Do you know these people? And honestly, at a point, I got angry. And I was like, Mrs. Shaw, don't give it time. Just pay. She was like, no, Mr. George, this is handed money. I've been washing plates in London for 7 years. All the money we put together, God just come and throw the money away like that. No way. And they did all manner of due diligence, asked about the developer. They knew, used to work in federal ministry in Abuja before he retired and now became a developer. When they were satisfied, that was when they paid for the property. Okay, so look for someone who can, do due diligence on your behalf. And because they were satisfied, their friend in London who couldn't come home, on the basis of that, they too, now proceeded and they patronized me and patronized the developer. And now we are good family friends. Almost 20 years now, we've become very good friends. So, there are always ways you can, get that information, even if you're not physically on ground in Lagos. So I hope I've been able to do justice to the questions. We ran out of time, but we'll meet some.
Wow.
Thank you.
Really been insightful. Please, another warm round of applause for Mr. George. Thank you. I'm getting all the lovely feedback from everywhere, both in the chat room and also even on my WhatsApp to say that this has been so good. This has been really insightful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for pouring out all of these valuable nuggets that we're going to really be working on, And one thing you said, if the best time to get a property or investment of nature was yesterday, and the next best time is now. With all of the things you have shared, we can actually then go ahead because we are now armed with relevant information. So over to the man of the moment, Mr. Sheyi, Architect Sheyi Orenuga. Please come do your thing from here on, your vote of thanks and all of that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. George. Thank you so much, and good to meet you too as well. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, good evening once again. Thank you so much, sir. I've been listening, and what an evening. Thank you so much. I believe all our audience this evening have really been gained something from all that you have shared with us. Thank you for pouring out your mind, and thank you for not holding back. I see that and thank you for being practical. It's such a very practical session. I learned some street sense from you this evening. I've always learned from you, sir, and I've learned some new things, some things you've never shared with me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. I want to I want our audience to also please join me to say thank you to Mr. Bafemi George. We have not paid him a dime to be here today. It was quite tough to get him down here today, I can tell you. I think we shifted the time like once or twice, and I was looking forward to a good time. And today was just a perfect day for it. Thank you so much. We have done the recording for this session, and we're going to be sharing with everybody. You can go back to it at your convenience, right? And you can also reach out to us. If you also want to reach out to Mr. Bafemi George personally, I'm sure he wouldn't mind. All right, so just reach out to us, and then we would definitely connect with him. I don't know, sir, if you want to also share your Instagram handle, you know, with our audience, they can connect with you also directly from Instagram. All right, we're also going to be announcing the winner of the quiz. All right, I'm sure everybody is excited about that, and everybody's waiting to have the winner. So we have some persons. It was quite close, very, very close, but we were able to get the first person who got the answers correctly. Okay, so our winner tonight is no other person but okay, Mr. Ludara Dave. All right, thank you so much. So he was the first person to get the answers correctly. All right, and he's going home with a 10,000 Naira airtime. All right, so we'll contact you. I think I know you very well, so we'll always get it across to you. All right, one more thing before we go. There was a video we're trying to play the other time. I think it's important every one of us watch it. It's an answer to one of the questions that were asked, and one of the things Mr. George mentioned to us today was that if you want to start, you can start from wherever you are. So Space and Shelta had this initiative, I think about a year or two ago, just to help people who would like to start real estate with as low as whatever you are earning now. Probably 50,000, 100,000, 1 million, 2 million Naira is with you. You can have like a real estate bank where you can put these funds, let the funds work for you for a period of time. Then you can identify whatever property you want to buy. All right, so please hold on with me for just about 2 minutes, and we're going to be playing that right away. Then after that, you can reach out to us for any question that you have. All right, so the next thing you'll be seeing now is the video playing. Thank you. Hi, my name is Sheyi Orenuga. I'm an architect. I'm an entrepreneur with over a decade experience in the building industry. I've worked with several clients in delivering different projects, ranging from residential to industrial, hospitality projects, and what have you. I've come to realize that there are many young professionals who have this burning desire to invest in real estate, but do not know how to go about it, neither do they have the time. To address these issues, I've co-founded an initiative called Home. My team and I have been working on this initiative for the past 2 years, and we are glad to share with you our digital platform. Home Initiative is a platform designed for young professionals and families to achieve their dream of owning their first home with the fastest and seamless structure. With Home Initiative, you have the option of investing to own or own to sell. This is your opportunity to own your first home before your next milestone age. Sign up today and let's hold your hands as you take your first step in owning a home. All right. I'm sure for some of us, home initiative is not new. For some of us, we're just seeing this for the first time. All right. You can go right away and check home initiative online, right? And sign up. You can also please chat us up. All right. And we will definitely answer or attend to all your questions. Okay, so that's a platform where you can actually start from at whatever level you are. A couple of other questions that came in as regards the properties. Is it a service estate? Is it all our properties are in service estates? Okay, and they are all gated estates. They are in choice locations where you will never regret living in those places. All right, so our time is really fast spent and we don't want to keep us beyond this hour. All right, if we have any question, please kindly reach out to us. We also have, for anyone who have attended this webinar, all right, that would like to sign up on any of our properties in the market today as presented by Mr. Lekon, all right, you would have a 5 to 10% discount, okay, if you sign up, all right, today, okay, so within the next 24 to 48 hours. So you can, we'll also share the link with you. It will be in your email any moment from now, and you can take advantage of that. All right, once again, I want to say thank you to everybody.